Welcome back, guys. I am super excited today to really dive into things a little bit deeper. Today, I want to talk about how our biology creates our reality. I want to talk about the reticular activating system, the RAS in the brain, and how that impacts our reality and what we create and our ability to create as well. So let's dive in. First of all, I'm sure you've all had an experience where you felt unwell or a little bit off and noticed how when something was going on with your physical body, it felt almost impossible to show up in the way that you wanted to show up or create what it is that you wanted to create with the energy with which that you wanted to create it. Why? Because it's impossible to be present in your body or present with the person that's in front of you to show up at that level when something physically is going on in your own body. And our physiology, there has been so many links between our physiology and the way that that actually impacts the energy that we have and how people respond to us and so forth. So this is why we're going to touch on two of the four pillars that I teach today. The first one we're going to talk to is obviously the physical body and how you can really use this to support you in creating what it is that you want to create, whether that's through actually increasing your physical energy, or maybe it's simply through shifting your physical body and noticing how that impacts your confidence, your capacity, your resilience, your sense of self-worth to nourish yourself and actually feel okay with accepting that you want to feel attractive to yourself when you look in the mirror, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So when it comes to the physical body, it's such a foundational pillar when we're wanting to create something in the world that feels really authentic, that feels really empowering, and that has impact. Because if you're wanting to create something big, you have the awareness that it's going to be about the long game. And in order to stay in it for the long run, you're going to need to have a body that supports you. And you're going to need to really create a lifestyle that is going to support that. Because the last thing you need is to continually go through burnout cycles where you feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. It's like you are pushing yourself, you're forcing yourself, and you get the result, but ultimately your health is what you've sacrificed in order to get that success. That is not what we are co-creating or wanting to create in my world anyway, for sure. It's actually about really breaking that cycle around that belief, around needing to sacrifice your health in order to be successful. And I speak with so many people where they are like, yeah, I'm just going to get to this point when it comes to like a goal around finances, and then I'll start looking after my health. But what people don't realize is your limiting capacity at the moment is linked to your physical health. So there's always going to be a glass ceiling on the success that you can create in your business, in your life, if you're not in a healthy body, in a healthy state. So it's one of the biggest tools and one of the biggest keys to really unlocking and breaking through that glass ceiling. If you feel like you keep hitting this glass ceiling that you're not breaking through, really go to the body, go to the health, shift that, increase that. And I teach ways of movement that are so sustainable, but that have been scientifically proven to increase your brain function and your physical energy. And that's what it's about. When we don't have time to just waste on doing random movements that are not actually building towards anything. There does get to be structure, there does get to be strategy, but it does get to be easy and really simple when you know how. So that's the first pillar. get the health down, really focus on building strength in your body so that you can increase that capacity to actually expand the life that you're creating and living at this point in time, because you do get to have it all, and it doesn't have to feel like this hard slog, and you don't have to sacrifice your health or the way that your body looks in order to get to this end point. So that's the first thing, and that is a huge pillar that I could talk on for hours. The key takeaways that I want you to take away is to actually focus on building muscle. I know this is has a lot of resistance with a lot of women, but I'm here to tell you that it takes you a long time to build muscle. It's not going to happen overnight, and you can build it to the degree that feels really good for you, where you still feel like you're attracted to your own reflection when you look at it in the mirror, okay? So we're not about just, that's the whole thing. I'm going to stop there. Build the strength. Focus on building the strength and really looking at your biology as a powerful way to actually shift your reality. Your physiology can also be like your actual energy. So if you're in a slump and you feel uncreative, or you feel blocked, or you feel really tired and drained all the time, the 4 pillars that I teach on are all very intentional. Also, what comes under the physical is actually using somatic practices like your breath to support you in increasing your energy, your clarity, your focus, and the way that you hold yourself before you're about to go into an important meeting or go into a room where you may be networking or meeting new friends or whatever it is. Breath work and the body is a really powerful tool to actually shift your state, shift your energy, and then shift your reality. So breath work and physical movement, building muscle mass would be the 2 highlights that I would say would be a non-negotiable in really elevating your capacity to hold more, in shifting your reality and increasing your energy. The second pillar I want to talk to is identity. When we think about really shifting our reality, the last thing you need is 1,001 different habits and a routine, morning routine that takes 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever it is. No one wants that and no one needs that. What you actually are really needing is a shift in identity, because you cannot rely on willpower alone to actually create what it is that you want to create in your reality, because there are days when you don't feel like doing the thing. There are days when you don't want to go to the gym, or you don't want to do that business strategy or follow through on that strategy because there's resistance there underneath. And a lot of the time, when we really get to the core of what the resistance is, it's linked to beliefs and it's linked to identity. What are the limiting beliefs that are actually stopping me from taking that action? What are the conflicting beliefs that are actually sabotaging me from creating what it is that I want to create? And that ties into the identity, because my beliefs are linked to who I think I am, what I think I'm worthy of. So doing the identity work is really important, because it's not about relying on willpower. It's not about 1,001 routines. The real shift happens when you're actually really connected with the version of you that has already created that reality, and you're creating a way of being, a lifestyle. It's not relying on willpower. Like, think about this. You brush your teeth and floss your teeth day and night. Does that require willpower? No, it doesn't. It's just something that you do. It's a part of your lifestyle. You don't have to coerce yourself to brush your teeth or coerce yourself to wash your hair. It's like, no, this is just what I do. It's in alignment with my identity. It's in alignment with my way of being. You're not thinking about it. And that is when you hear people talk about how you get to live this extraordinary life that does get to feel easeful and effortless and in flow. That's not to say that things are not hard to do, but there's no resistance, internal resistance. There's no battle going on between beliefs and what it is that you want. There's this alignment, and therefore with that alignment, there is that ease, that is that flow that comes with that alignment. So shifting your identity really comes down to practicing and showing up for yourself every single day with really noticing, how are you actually talking to yourself? What is your internal dialogue like? What choices are you making? What beliefs are you holding that may be in conflict with what it is that you say that you want? And then start to understand, what are some new beliefs that can actually be in alignment with what it is that you say you want? What are some new choices that you can make that align with the person that you are becoming, the person that already has the reality that you desire? Those are tangible, actionable steps. And every action that you take, it doesn't matter how small it is a part of that rewiring of the brain. And that's when we talk about the neuroplasticity of the brain, right? Until from 0 to 7, a lot of our beliefs were already wired within us. But because our brain is neuroplastic, which means that it is adaptable and it is able to change, we can create change within our brain now. And we do that through repetition. And we do that through really having conscious presence with what is currently going on internally, and then choosing to shift that. I could go into that rewiring of the identity in so many different levels and depths, but I want to keep it really clear and simple right now. So first of all, let's go to a really simple journal prompt, which is just literally going into, who is that version of you that already has the reality that you want to create? How do they dress? How do they communicate? How do they look after themselves? What are they doing throughout their day? What choices are they making? How are they eating? How are they relating to people? Look at the small things that you can actually start to adapt now. The second thing I want you to really look into is, if you have resistance to doing action that you know will support you in creating the life that you want, notice if there is a conflicting belief underneath that, and bring awareness to it first and foremost. Once you've got that awareness, then you can start to actually choose a new belief and start to rewire that every single day. And this starts by really coming into being consciously aware of your internal dialogue, catching it in the moment, and then reframing it in the moment. So first you do some thought around what it is that you would like to replace it with. And then it's about practicing bringing presence and awareness when those old thought patterns come up, or when that old dialogue comes up, or when that old story comes through, of really sitting with it, pausing, taking a few breaths, and then talking yourself through that new belief, that new desire or way of being or way of talking to yourself that is really talking life into yourself. And just notice, even within 21 days, that huge shift that can happen internally, and continue to show up for yourself. That's the most important thing. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what lands for you. Let me know what you would love me to dive deeper into. I would love to really kind of create this dialogue where it's like this co-creation. So you're sharing with me what lands for you and sharing your questions, and then I get to answer them on the next podcast, and we get to dive in deeper together. Sending you so much love, and I will see you tomorrow.